Here we go. I get another.
I fell for it. Shame.
Here we This is part of the Disneyfication. Disneyfication?
Yeah, I don't think
The earth is just a dead thing in flame, but I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. I think the only people who are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the moon or ask the grinning wildcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
Yeah, I don't think he followed her advice.
Neither did John Locke. As far as he's concerned, you own the property if you use your own sweat to transform this crappy woods into a productive farm.
Yeah.
It's just being wasted. The people that live here aren't doing anything with it. It should be transformed. Chop all the trees down,
Do something.
dig up all the ore,
Yeah,
turn it into a productive farm.
Yeah, while we're at it, we'll get
You do all of that now. See, you own the property because you've turned this waste into a productive, valuable property.
What was the logic with making them build the houses for them? Or, taking them back?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not suggesting that this argument isn't full of holes.
Huh.
Plus, in retrospect, when we're looking at global warming, and hoping that nature will forgive us for everything that we've done, because look at the crap we've made this place. Yeah, I mean, lawns.
Yeah.
What the hell good is a lawn?
It makes you look,
Like your
Restaurant.
royalty. Look, remember you saw the gardens that were transformed mathematically, etc. Well, I live in a nice suburban environment, and my neighbors all want us to look as much like Versailles as possible with a lawn in Alaska.
in Alaska.
In Alaska, And by the way, it's hilarious, but if you read Michael Pollan, Michael?
Michael B. Jordan.
And it's Botany of Desire.
Well, that's the title. Botany of Desire.
Reading this book, I discovered that our lawns are manipulating us. Grass makes us spend as much time, on Saturdays at least, totally making the environment good for grass. The kind that, you have on your front lawn.
Did you know that when you cut grass and you smell it, that fresh cut grass smell, it's actually grass screaming for help.
It's grass.
Screaming for help.
You know what I need right now? Oh, yeah.
Well, good thing I never mowed my lawn.
It's literally like the smell of them saying, cannot mow this part.
Okay, stop.
But I'm holding the same,
I mean,
smell it, they're like,
It
oh, I smell great.
Speaking of grass, I would really like to touch some grass right now. don't want mosquitoes so much.
I really
Okay,
would.
you have to
punch our hole through the snow and on the
I
road.
want to touch some grass.
Frozen grass.
So, yeah, so, from the plant's point of view,
Does anyone remember the movie that happened?
Oh God. No, I do remember the movie That Happening. I watched it a couple times actually.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. What's it about?
The plants start releasing pheromones and things that make people kill themselves.
Is that the M. Night Shyamalan?
Yep, the one with Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg is in it?
Yeah, the one where he went.
It's like a
Oh.
lawnmower. It's a lawnmower that comes over.
Yeah, the dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legendary movie.
And the
A-tier
lady who
movie.
bashes her head into a window.
Mm-hmm. That was the climax. Yeah, that's what they ended all off on before Zoe Deschanel and that weird little
Oh,
girl.
sorry.
spoilers.
No, no,
Trigger
no.
I'm
warning.
not throwing
It's all
anything
in-
about you.
It's all
I'm
in the
not throwing
trailer.
anything
I'm
about
pretty
you.
sure that that stuff is in the trailer. So
It's not. Yeah, it's not a well put together movie by any means. You're good.
But basically,
All very decent.
Locke's argument is that if you're the one that makes this productive according to capitalism, kind of, that impression, then you're the one that's the owner of this, because you've done it. And the people that just let nature take its course. I mean, we had a governor named Wally Hickle. Right, Wally Hickle. One of his most famous quotes was, "You can't let nature run wild."
Huh?
He really said that. Yeah, it's not my fault. He really did say that.
Make it make sense.
And he was the Secretary of the Interior under Nixon.
That makes more sense. Actually.
So that's pretty cool, actually. So in any case, Locke gives us arguments for it's the legitimating narrative, beginning legitimating narrative that our founding fathers used as their political roadmap for this new republic, right? If you can keep it, says Benjamin Franklin. So we got the balance of powers. We ended up with 3. The British still have 2. And obviously, an important part of this is for those who feel like, these rights. And Locke does argue this, that the reason that the rights are the way they are is because of the laws of nature, which they've inherited philosophically from Thomas Aquinas. Still have that, right? So in their logical reasoning process, people living a certain way is the state, the law of nature, how people should treat one another, etc. And those become then the laws of the land, right? So that's all in that impression that they have. Yes.
For everybody that got there, not including the people that were already there.
No.
Okay.
Big argument over that, though, because of course lots of the folks that were there did adapt and enculturate to be part of that, and then the ugly nature of a racism issue crept into that, and you end up with, no, we don't want any of those people here, even though they've learned to read, write, run farms and do all the things that we say that's what we would like to do, but we don't want them here. We want, so yeah, that's all, that's all part of the complexity of this issue. Okay. But Locke is important not only for that political aspect of what happened, but he's also considered by many to be the first British empiricist. Now, empiricism means you believe in knowledge coming to you from empirical experience. I sense I see, I feel, I hear, etc. So the knowledge comes into my tabula rasa, my empty slate. So it is a table, it's just vertical. So this is a table, and it's empty because I haven't written anything on it. So the mind is a empty slate, a tabula rasa, according to Locke, right? And he's following Hobbes because Hobbes thought, it's empirical. So clearly Hobbes is empirical, but why is Locke officially the first British empiricist? Because he discovers what becomes the problem of empiricism, and that is that I see things and hear things and so on as they appear to me. So what I'm seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, etc., smelling, is all being interpreted by my senses that are receiving this input. So I'm seeing the impact of the particles on my eye, I'm hearing the sound of the waves. I don't think they call them waves, but the movement of the sound in my ears, etc. And so what I'm seeing are the secondary appearances, or the secondary aspects of things, not the primary. So like we've got social contract, but he's the first of the British empiricists, right? Quick, I got a quick mention. Francis Bacon, I never mentioned him, but Francis Bacon was an important philosopher. I never talked about him at all. Francis Bacon had Thomas Hobbes as a mentee. So when we think of Thomas Hobbes, I should have mentioned that one of his teachers, not officially in the schools, but that one of his mentors was Francis Bacon, who gives us a novum organum, a new tool. Aristotle gave us a tool which was logic. So the organum was originally Aristotle, but Francis Bacon gives us the new tool, and the new tool is meant to introduce inductive reasoning as the main way that we learn things by experimentation. Didn't really take off, and in fact, experimenting killed Francis Bacon because one night when they were driving by wagon and it snowed, he had the driver stop, and he went to a farmer's house, and he purchased a chicken, and he had the wife of the farmer pluck the chicken, and then he took the chicken outside and he stuffed it with snow because he was curious if snow would help preserve the meat. The trouble is he never found out because he got pneumonia and died.
They couldn't even finish that as experiment.
Well, he did kind of an experiment. It's going to be outside before getting around.
I thought it was gonna be something about salmonella or something.
Yeah. I was thinking about. I was like, I don't think they had coats in the winter. like not warm enough to be outside stuffing chickens for that long.
The Netherlands.
Seems like it's a normal thing.
Okay, we gotta do that.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Or the bacon.
Chicken. Yeah.
Killed a lot of things.
Okay. Slavery and child labor. This is Wikipedia, so there you go. Read some of this stuff and you'll see how that works. Accumulation of wealth, economics.
So John Locke was nature. Was he also nurture? Is that also an argument then?
Well, nurture would be an empiricist explanation for how you know things. Yes. Is definitely not Platonic in the sense that our souls are connected to. No explanation for that. It's all material. In fact, that's the question I ask as our quiz question today. What do you think of John Locke's materialism? And what is that? Well, he basically believes that the universe completely consists of atoms in arrangements. And it's not that they're completely moving around, nor are they completely still, but the explanation for why matter remains an object over time for Locke is because the atoms are fixed in the shape in which they're in, right? And we're made of atoms as well, right? So everything is made up of atoms for him. And God created the universe, by the way, by creating these atoms and these arrangements and so on. They obviously have evolved, although they don't call it that yet. But at the same time, God does not need to constantly interfere with things because this is still that clock business, right? Made a perfect clock, so God doesn't have to screw up with the clock, doesn't have to enter into a relationship with you. So Locke is a deist. That's kind of an interesting difference. A theist is a believer in God, where God interacts with me. I can say things to God. Why, God? Etc. Help me out, God. Whatever your prayers might be, right? And God listens to you and says, "Screw you," or whatever God says, right? But you have a relationship. It's like a person, right? And by the way, that was one of the biggest issues with Jesus. The Arians, the heresy, didn't think that God could have a personality, or God could have emotions. God could be suffering. God is, like that in which nothing greater can be thought. The algorithm that runs the universe. And if that's the case, like Zeus, Rhea is Zeus's mother. Well, you wouldn't have a mother for God, right? And of course, Jesus has Mary as his mother, which gets, you read, here's the line, from David, here's the line from Adam to David, here's the line from David to Joseph, and then you get Jesus, and you think, wait, what did they just do all that for? Joseph isn't his dad, according to the dogma. Because the angel came in and said, let it be done, let it be done to me according to thy will, etc. It wasn't rape, or something in her drink. Depending on how many drinks she had at the cocktail party, This was Mary's, yes, let it, I'll accept, whatever. Sorry, this is so, I'm going to be so in trouble with, God when this is over. But in any case, for Locke, as a deist, what is a deist? And by the way, American deism is a thing. Thomas Jefferson, is an American deist, follower of Locke, basically. And what Locke is basically saying is God created the whole universe and doesn't have a personality that interacts with us. Right? No personality, no asking God for favors. If you want to get along with God, Spinoza teaches us, we have to understand science. Science is the language of God. God created the universe, and it follows the scientific laws that we can discover using the reason that we got from God. Right? So, the way you save yourself from falling off of a building is by not jumping. Because you say to yourself, if I jump from here, I will be dead. You don't jump off and say, the angels save me, and then you fall down and you're dead. Because,
Well, then you guys just die in
angels are the forces of the universe anyway, including gravity. So there you go. Is this fun? Am I boring you guys to death?
No, I mean, I didn't notice an hour passed, so I guess.
Interesting.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
You're cool.
I'm cool.
we're chilling.
I can go.